Think you found the perfect car for 2025? What if it's actually one of the worst choices you could make? These cars may look great on paper, but behind the shiny exteriors, they're hiding some serious issues. Could the vehicle of your dreams turn into your worst nightmare? Or maybe the one everyone's been warning you about might just surprise you. Stay tuned as we uncover the shocking truth about the 10 top worst cars and SUVs for 2025. Are you making the right choice, or are you walking into a trap? Well, let's find out. Let's start with the Dodge Dart. The Dodge Dart has been a controversial pick for years, and unfortunately, its 2025 version doesn't seem to fix the issues that have haunted it. Sure, the new model looks sleek and modern, but dig a little deeper, and the problems start piling up. If you guessed excessive oil consumption, then you're right. If you remember the 2015 Dart, owners were frustrated because their cars devoured oil like there was no tomorrow, needing a refill every 1,000 miles. That's not just inconvenient, it's downright expensive. Then there's the dreaded engine stalling problem, which plagued earlier models, especially the 2014 version. Imagine cruising down the road and suddenly losing power. Terrifying, right? And let's not forget the transmission troubles. Owners have reported gears popping out unexpectedly and grinding noises that sounded like the car is begging for mercy. On top of that, suspension issues, like sudden axle failures, have raised serious safety concerns. While Dodge has tried to make the 2025 model more appealing with sporty looks and advanced tech, these mechanical flaws are hard to overlook. If you're eyeing the Dart, tread carefully. It's a gamble, and the odds aren't great. But if you thought the Dodge Dart was bad, wait until you see how the Volkswagen Taos stacks up. The Volkswagen Taos tries to charm buyers as a compact SUV packed with features, but it struggles to deliver where it really matters. First, let's talk about performance, or the lack of it. The Taos feels sluggish when accelerating, and its handling doesn't inspire confidence. Compared to competitors, it feels like Volkswagen didn't bring its A-game under the hood. Moving inside, things don't get much better. Sure, the cabin is spacious, but the materials used? Disappointing. For a brand like Volkswagen, you'd expect a premium feel, but instead, it leans on the cheaper side, which takes away from the overall experience. Even the tech doesn't quite save it. While the Taos offers modern infotainment features, users have complained about the system being slow and clunky. Finally, safety ratings have been less than stellar. For an SUV in this segment, that's a serious drawback. Combine that with underwhelming performance and a not-so-impressive interior, and the Taos feels like it's missing the mark. Moving on from a lackluster SUV, let's talk about a sedan that's been disappointing many over the years, the Chrysler 300. The Chrysler 300 has been a key player in the sedan market for years, but in 2025, it's struggling to keep up with the competition. Let's start with the reliability issues. Owners have reported problems with the electrical systems, airbags that malfunction, and rough shifting transmissions. These aren't just isolated incidents. They've been documented across several model years, making long-term dependability a big question mark. Another challenge is the market itself. Large sedans like the Chrysler 300 are losing their appeal as more buyers lean towards fuel-efficient, tech-savvy vehicles or crossovers. While the 300 does offer a spacious interior and powerful engine options, its design and technology feel outdated. Competitors are stepping up with sleek cabins and advanced features, while the 300 feels stuck in the past. Then there's the price. With a sticker tag between $60,550 and $78,250, the Chrysler 300 feels overpriced for what it delivers. If you're shelling out that kind of money, you'd expect cutting-edge innovation and reliability, two things the 300 struggles to provide. For most buyers, modern alternatives offer better value for their money. While the Chrysler 300 might be a classic in design, it's far from a top contender when compared to the next vehicle on our list, the Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. The Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross has a name that might stir nostalgia, but as a 2025 compact SUV, it falls flat in many areas. First up, performance. The turbocharged four-cylinder engine is underpowered, making acceleration sluggish and overall driving uninspiring. In a segment filled with punchy options, this is a major letdown. Inside, the story doesn't get much better. Reviews consistently point out the cheap materials and uninspired interior design. While Mitsubishi has tried to offer advanced safety features, these alone aren't enough to offset the lack of comfort and technology you'd find in rivals like the Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4. Brand presence is another issue. Mitsubishi doesn't have the strongest foothold in North America, and that raises concerns about long-term reliability and resale value. Buyers often look for peace of mind when making a big purchase, and the Eclipse Cross struggles to deliver it. When you add it all up, the Eclipse Cross doesn't make a compelling case for itself. With better performing and more refined options available in its class, it's tough to recommend this SUV for 2025. Would you settle for less when there's so much more out there? The Eclipse Cross might fall short, but it's still more reliable than the next contender, the Ford Fiesta. The Ford Fiesta has had its fair share of issues, and unfortunately, they're hard to ignore. Well, it's the infamous power shift transmission, particularly in models from 2011 to 2016. Owners often face transmission failures before hitting 50,000 miles, and the repairs? They're not cheap. The tech doesn't help much either. The Fiesta's My Ford Touch infotainment system has been full of software glitches. Imagine your rear-view camera or touchscreen becoming unresponsive when you need it most. It's no surprise this led to lawsuits over safety concerns. Safety hasn't been a strong suit either. There have been numerous recalls, including one for doors that could unexpectedly swing open while driving. And let's not forget the engine cylinder head leaks that posed fire risks. While RepairPal gave the Fiesta a decent 4.0 out of 5.0 reliability rating, those frequent recalls and complaints cast a big shadow over it. Adding to the challenge is Ford's decision to discontinue the Fiesta in favor of electric vehicles. This means parts and services might become harder to find, making ownership even trickier down the road. With all these reliability issues, safety concerns, and uncertainty about future support, the Fiesta is far from a safe bet for 2025. As we move on, let's shift gears and take a look at a bigger player in the SUV game, the Jeep Grand Cherokee. The Jeep Grand Cherokee might have the rugged styling and off-road capabilities Jeep fans love, but dig a little deeper and the cracks start to show. For starters, it's notorious for mechanical problems. Common complaints include transmission failures, electrical system glitches, and excessive oil consumption. None of these are cheap to fix, making ownership a potentially frustrating experience. Fuel economy is another letdown. Compared to its competitors, the Grand Cherokee shovels down on gas, which is a tough pill to swallow when fuel prices are climbing. And while the interior might look luxurious at first glance, many owners have noted that the materials don't hold up well. Over time, they start to feel cheap and show signs of wear. Safety is yet another sore spot. While some models have done well in crash tests, others have lagged behind competitors, raising concerns about passenger protection. For a vehicle in this segment, that's a big red flag. With its mix of reliability issues, mediocre safety ratings, and high running costs, the Grand Cherokee struggles to justify itself as a solid choice for 2025. Rugged or not, it's a gamble many buyers might not want to take. But as disappointing as the Grand Cherokee can be, it's nothing compared to the all-new 2025 Nissan Altima. The 2025 Nissan Altima faces a tough battle in the competitive midsize sedan market, and it doesn't quite hit the mark. One of the biggest letdowns is the uninspiring driving experience. The steering feels vague and unresponsive, leaving drivers disconnected from the road. For those who love a sharp, engaging ride, this can be a real deal-breaker. Step inside and things don't improve much. The interior feels cheap, with subpar materials and a bland design that pales compared to rivals like the Honda Accord and Toyota Camry. It doesn't help that visibility is compromised due to thick roof pillars and a low-quality backup camera, which can make everyday driving a nuisance. The Altima doesn't deliver. There's no hybrid variant for eco-conscious buyers, and with the discontinuation of the turbocharged engine, you're left with a single 2.5-liter inline-4 option that's, well, underwhelming. But here's the twist. The Altima doesn't hold its value well. Recent trends show resale prices dropping by about 1.51%, meaning it might not be the smartest financial choice in the long run. While it does score points for good fuel economy and safety features, its lack of performance, mediocre interior, and declining resale value make it a disappointing pick for 2025. But just when you thought the Altima couldn't get worse, the 2025 Jeep Compass comes in to make its mark. The 2025 Jeep Compass might catch your eye with its spacious seating and cargo room, but reliability issues are a major concern. Many owners report frequent mechanical problems, raising doubts about how well this SUV will hold up over time. On the road, it's not much better. The Compass struggles with poor handling, showing excessive body roll during corners and longer than average stopping distances. This can make the driving experience feel less safe and far from enjoyable. Inside, it's more frustration. The control layout is confusing, making it tricky to find and operate essential features quickly. Add to that the intrusive cabin noise from both the engine and the outside, and comfort takes a big hit. Financially, the Compass doesn't fare well either. It tends to drop in price faster than rivals like the Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4, leaving buyers with significant losses if they decide to sell or trade it in after a few years. While it does appeal to off-road enthusiasts, the reliability concerns, poor handling, and rapid depreciation make the 2025 Jeep Compass a risky choice. For most buyers, there are better options out there. But let's talk about another sedan that's leaving many drivers frustrated: the Volkswagen Jetta. The Volkswagen Jetta, once a go-to choice for compact sedans, seems to have lost its spark in 2025. And here's why it might not live up to expectations. First off, performance issues stand out. The Jetta struggles with sluggish acceleration, which takes the fun out of driving. And with no hybrid option in sight, it feels outdated in a world moving towards fuel efficiency and greener options. Then there's the user interface problem. The touchscreen controls have been called complicated and unintuitive, which means even basic tasks can feel like a chore. If you're used to smooth, user-friendly tech in other cars, the Jetta's system might drive you up the wall. The interior quality doesn't do much to help its case. Yes, the cabin is spacious, but cheap materials and intrusive road and wind noise ruin the overall vibe. For a car that looks refined on the outside, the interior feels like a letdown. And the cherry on top? Poor resale value. By late 2024, the average resale price for used Jettas dropped to around $14,332, down nearly 6% from the previous year. If you're thinking about long-term value, this could be a deal breaker. And finally, we end with one last disappointment. Meet the Dodge Hornet, a car that's making waves for all the wrong reasons. The 2025 Dodge Hornet enters the market with a sporty vibe, but it falls short in ways that matters to buyers. Let's start with sales performance. The Hornet has been labeled one of America's worst-selling vehicles, which doesn't inspire much confidence. Many buyers are opting for more reliable and trusted brands in the compact SUV segment. While the Hornet does offer sporty performance thanks to its turbocharged engine, its fuel economy leaves a lot to be desired. When compared to efficiency champs like the Toyota RAV4 or Honda CR-V, the Hornet doesn't hold up, which could be a major turnoff for those who value both power and practicality. Inside, the interior design doesn't do much to win hearts either. The lack of storage for small items makes it less family-friendly, and noticeable road noise further restricts the driving experience. For an SUV, this combination of impracticality and discomfort is a real downside. Like the Jetta, the Hornet also struggles with resale value. Despite starting at a solid $31,180, poor sales and stiff competition make it unlikely to hold its value well. So in 2025, it's clear that not every car or SUV lives up to expectations. Whether it's poor performance, reliability issues, or disappointing interiors, some vehicles just miss the mark. From the sluggish Volkswagen Taos to the underwhelming Dodge Hornet, these models highlight the importance of researching before you buy. So, what do you think? Which of these cars or SUVs would you absolutely avoid? And have you ever owned one of the vehicles on this worst list? Share your experiences in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more deep dives into the auto world. And if you're curious about some real Chevy flops, click here to watch our video on the 13 ugliest Chevy muscle cars in company history.